For the past few days, I have been hunting. I have been looking for anybody still trying to defend Dragon Age The Veilguard, as player counts have dwindled, how the mainstream games journalists who once proclaimed this as being the most important, groundbreaking, 9, 10 out of 10 video game that you could ever see, a real return to form for BioWare, have managed to flip the script, try to gaslight everybody going, oh, actually, it wasn't really that good, be an IGN walking back their initial praise going, it's kind of trash. Now that they can take the bold and obvious position that, yeah, this game's really bad. Okay, and that's something that we've known for a very long time, because I've said it before, I haven't played it or anything like that, but I've watched a number of playthroughs and seen a lot of hilarity created by the character creation screen, but it's really bad. Like, every single angle that you can approach this game at from a dialogue perspective, I mean, it's abysmal. Your character, your companions never shut up. None of them are likable. And it's not just talking about, the pronouns, non-binary crap like that. That is almost secondary to just how piss poor every mechanic is. Your gameplay is a mobile game's slop. Your art direction looks like we have Fortnite at home. It's all bad. There is no praiseworthy aspect of this game. So in trying to find defenders post facto, a month removed from its release, remember, this only came out on Halloween, the most scary thing to come out, on the 31st. And basically everybody's forgotten it exists, which is good. But its impact on the industry, that's what shouldn't be forgotten. But anybody, trying to purchase and defend this game, yeah, they should all just be resigned to the dustbin of history. But in searching for somebody defending this game, I should have known there was only one place that would be bold and brave and actually stunning and brave enough to take up that torch. And that, of course, is the most insufferable outlet, and I know that with full knowledge of Kotaku out there, Polygon. I knew that they had to be the ones to continue to wave the flag, minus the L, for BioWare's latest output. Because I don't know if you guys have been around, the space long enough to remember when Polygon was first announced to be an outlet. Like, it's not as old as like GameSpot or IGN or anything like that. But when you had some of the creepiest, weirdest dorks from all of those other outlets, like you had Steven Totillo, was he at Kotaku at that time? Some IGN guys, some GameSpot guys all coming together. There was this, I think they were walking down the street, if I remember the video right, but they were announcing that, yeah, oh man, it's time to do more serious games journalism. This was like 2012 or 2013. Like this was way back in the day. They made that cringe announcement video, and this was before Gamergate, and everybody already knew it's like games journalism is super cringe, and even this takes it up another level. So Polygon has always been a joke. So of course, them coming out and saying there was one big snub in the Game Awards nominations. Dragon Age The Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, did not. That's kind of a weird proclamation that you're making right there. Okay, saying that it was engineered for the Game Awards and even failed to do that. It's like, yeah, you tried to virtue signal to all this stuff, but you realize that, guys, it's 2024. This ain't 2018 anymore, okay? This isn't 2020. Because if this game came out a year or two ago, perhaps it would have got some nods. It would have got some noms, because this woke crap was running a little bit more bravely and boldly back in the day. I don't think in 2022 when Elden Ring came out, like, it would have, beat that, but it probably would have got tapped for Game of the Year for sure. And in 2020, it might have gave The Last of Us Part 2 a run for its money. Both of them have an equally pathetic narrative and outdated gameplay. Oh my god, yeah, I like The Last of Us Part 1. It was actually written by somebody that is competent. That gameplay is old as hell, bro. Like, if everybody could just wipe the tears out of their eyes, they would realize that, waist-high cover and a bunch of surface-level stealth does not make for an enjoyable 20-hour romp. But anyways, talking about The Veilguard now, the Game Awards aren't known for much in the way of shock and surprises. Yeah, it's a big trailer dump with a bunch of self-important interruptions. Okay, so it proved, and so it proved with the 2024 nominees, a fairly well-rounded list, and some of the year's best reviewed and best loved games got some love. But yeah, exactly, it was a, like, there were a bunch of people Monday morning quarterbacking this shit by saying, oh, Elden Ring DLC. It's like they were always going to break glass in case of emergency, any opportunity to suck the bag of FromSoft, they were going to take it. And given the fact that, Shadow of the Erd Tree, gameplay aside, it's like 20 or 30 hours. It's bigger than some of the other games that are nominated. Okay. And yeah, it was just a DLC. Could have been released on its own, but it wasn't. So I can understand it being up there. I don't like it. I don't have to like it. But then at the same time, it's like, this is the Game Awards, bro. It really doesn't much matter. It's cool that these games get spotlit, and it's good that these creators are getting, the recognition that they actually deserve. But whether a game wins or not doesn't detract from the fact that, the Balatros, the indie hit of the year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, is the best Final Fantasy game since 2001, and Dragon Age The Veilguard sucks a dick. But there is one striking, a very title striking for its almost complete absence. No, you got nominated for, shitty menus, bro. Or you could have a no-death run, so journalists can go ahead and play it and tell you how stunning and brave the story is. The Games Award voting jury snubbed BioWare's latest game in a series of key categories where it could have been expected to compete. Like what? RPG of the year? Bro, you think that this thing can stand shoulder to shoulder with Erdtree and a Rebirth? Suck a dick, you prematurely bald and dork. This is a surprise as a narrative-led blockbuster in a famous series with slick production values. Well, shouldn't that tell you just how awful this game is? Yeah, but it looks really good. It doesn't. At least it doesn't crash. I guess it has that over something like Star Wars Outlaws, which actually got 3 times as many nominations as Veilguard did. The Veilguard is exactly the kind of game that tends to do well at the Game Awards. I'm sure it'll win a lot of Rainbow Flag Awards. That's exactly its speed. Its predecessor, Inquisition, won Game of the Year at the Game Awards inaugural year. Yeah, 2014. Yeah, because it's a vastly better game. Okay, but that should also tell you, its predecessor a decade ago. And a whole host of different people. I don't imagine that there's much carryover, to be completely honest, from anybody working at BioWare in 2014 to who's working there in 2024. I forgot what year it is because it's been so goddamn long since we've had a good BioWare game. Granted, the reception of the Veilguard has been mixed. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. With its Metacritic rating settling at 82. What's the user score? A nomination for Game of the Year themed beyond its reach, even though at one point higher than Black Myth Wukong, which did make the cut. Yeah, because people really like the monkey game, and nobody likes Veilguard. And that's about the most pleasing look you're going to get on anybody's face when this game gets brought up. Ugh, I wasted money on this, or ugh, I wasted time watching a gameplay video on it. Ugh, I wish I had those minutes or hours back. Nobody's going to cry for this game, except for one of the biggest turds in the industry. Okay, listen, you might have crafted some of the most masculine IPs in gaming. Okay, Twisted Metal and God of War. Just think, this is the guy, David Jaffe, made some of the most hyper-masculine shit, and he's such a bitch. It's crazy. God of War director David Jaffe blames YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age The Veilguard and compares transgenderism to being black. Yo, man, male pattern baldness Santa, he doesn't have the big bushy beard like he does now, but he's got that Karl Marx drip going right now, and he's a big reason. I've shouted them out before as somebody who, when I want a kind of a more normie take on gaming, I'll go listen to them. But Colin Moriarty's Last Stand Media is he gives money to David Jaffe, and it's I can go ahead and not listen to your stuff because Jaffe is just such a, he's a terrible person. He's really bad. And this is just one in a long list of awful takes from him. David Jaffe, the director of God of War and Twisted Metal, which is so crazy, blamed so-called YouTube grifters for killing Dragon Age The Veilguard and wildly comparing the inclusion of gender ideology to race, specifically being black. Somebody like David Jaffe would definitely know what it's like to be black in his fictitious setting, okay? In a video uploaded to his YouTube channel, which appears to be a clip from a live stream. Yeah, because he goes on hours-long rants that make no more sense earlier or later in said video. But Jaffe answered a viewer question about the gaming community ruining the game. How does that happen? Okay, there you go. Now he's got that ball tickling, beard rocking. Okay, he said, when you say the gaming community ruined this game's success, I mean, they just put it out there for the world to see, and then for there to be a universal rejection of it. Yeah, no, it's all of those people who played the game that killed it. Weird. Okay, I don't think that's entirely fair, but I think that there's a lot of truth to it. Okay. He later added, really at this point, all of that gaming community that you're talking about has done is what they've made it so they've actually made games worse, right? Because I'm programming games, you're programming games, as from heel versus babyface when he's lamenting the inclusion of modern day California shit, you fucking pronouns, when he's doing all of that typing on the keyboard, making these games worse, they're to blame. Okay, which is what they say they're trying to not do. Yeah, by rewarding games like Black Myth Wukong, because again, you take a look at the professional reviewer score as opposed to the player score, and it's wildly disparate. Anyways, David Jaffe explained, because they have the charismatic grifters that make the video for whatever reason people respond to. Oh, okay, cool. I guess he's kind of jealous of people that actually have a following. Could you imagine, creating two of the biggest IPs, okay, under Sony's umbrella and being reduced to ranting for like dozens of people on a live stream? That must suck. Imagine having that big of a leg up and then just fumbling your way off the podium. That must really bad. Imagine being as ideologically driven as this asshole is and not having a job in the industry. Like, you just must be a special type of dick to find yourself on the outside looking in, complaining about people more successful than you on social media. That must really suck. People who haven't played this game will hate it just because they're sort of told to hate it. No, I've watched it. I've seen people play it. I've seen people play it and then stop playing it because they're bored out of their mind of just the sloppy combat and the insufferable dialogue. So what does EA do next time? They don't make Stellar Blade. Really? Because Sony does that, and Sony's equally as insufferable. But okay, they just continue to sort of, vanilla the fuck out of everything they work on and make sure that no one's going to have anything to complain about. Well, that's kind of a big problem with Dragon Age The Veilguard, because it's very much a modern game in a modern time. Like, it's as 2024 as you're going to get in a video game. It's a status quo personified. Like, it tries to appeal to everybody and ends up appealing to nobody, and that's a big problem. But no. Everybody else is a grifter for pointing this stuff out, which, I don't know, at this point in time, like, it means nothing. Jaffe then addressed the major backlash to the game pushing transgender ideology. Yep, it's front and center, bro. He said, they straight up ask you if you want to be transgender game options 1 hour in. Yep, you set up a mirror, and if you interact with it, regardless, even if you do, pick the negative option. No, I don't want any pronouns. No, I don't want to be transgender. You immediately get adopted into the cult. It's weird. It just goes to show you that, the choice mechanics in this game doesn't really, work at all. So yeah, that's what he's referring to. You select yes or no. So all the people bitching invited into their game. No, because even if you select no, your transgender status gets affirmed. Like, that, I don't know if it's a bug, but it was very much in the game at the time when I was watching. Then referencing the character of Tash, Jaffe said, I don't even know what it asked, but this character apparently is the bar of trans characters, so far there's nothing to me. And that's equivalent of saying, do you want black people in your game? What? Oh, do you want a hyper minority of mentally unwell people? Or do you want 13% of the population? Wait, what? Where are you going with this one? Okay. We have a button that'll get the blacks out. Detroit and Oakland enter the chat. That's the equivalent of it. But if that's what you're saying, I don't even know. That's what they were asking. Bro, you are like, this is wild even for Jaffe. And that's the thing. If there was a trans character that's in it, which in a fantasy setting where you could just go ahead and change whatever you want at a moment's notice, it's kind of strange to have that included. But at the same time, let's just take it at face value. Okay, Tash right there. Okay, the screaming, loud, obnoxious, always right, never ever once questioned character throughout the game. If that's it. If that's somebody that needs to be in it, okay, they can go ahead and be there. Nobody would really have a problem if everything about Tash, if Tash is coming out as non-binary, if there being an entire set piece about how it's so important not to misgender people, if that wasn't front and center in the game, nobody would really care. Like the same thing. Oh, you don't want a lesbian representation in your media. It's like, yeah, stuff's been around for a while and nobody really cares as long as it isn't clunkily put front and center. You can tastefully address all of these issues. But that's the thing with a Veilguard. It doesn't tastefully address anything. That is, whether or not you need to support BioWare moving forward. And with all due respect, fuck that studio. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.